So it's been a couple of weeks and we've been moving house. So the first week we were kind of packing stuff away, and then this week we've been kind of putting everything back again in the new house. So I thought it would be wise for me to take a break from doing these videos, just because I didn't really have a lot to show, and there's other things that we needed to be getting on and doing. This is being filmed on a different camera. The sound on it isn't very good, but the picture quality should be better, so I'm trying to mix two cameras together. One's doing the sound, one's doing the picture, and so if I seem to speak and then the words don't go with the video anymore, that's probably my editing fault. We're in our new house. I'll show you around my new sewing room. There's been a few changes and stuff, so I'm just going to pick this camera up and show you. So this is my new room. Sewing machine down here. The usual red furniture, we've got that. I've got a little storage chest area for my quilts, because I haven't got that wardrobe that Hank liked to sleep in anymore. Some handbags on there, and then I've got this big design wall, which I can't even fit on screen because it's so big. It is, I think it's 96 inches wide and 88 tall, and yeah, I've got a tutorial on my blog for that. If you go to blog.pennydog.com, there's a tutorial on how to make one of those without having to have a big truck to move all of the bits and pieces. It's actually made up from 12 polystyrene boards underneath there. At the minute I'm working on a reupholstering project. This is now Hank's little sleeping area. So I've got these chairs. So these were found by the side of the road, and they were free to anyone who wanted them. And there's Hank there, not on his sleeping bit. So they're quite filthy. They needed some work. They're quite chipped as well. So I've got one done already, which is over here. The paintwork is not great. I'm not particularly happy with it. It was done with the Rust-Oleum chalky paint, so it's supposed to be like the Annie Sloan one that you can just paint straight over the top without priming. But it's a little bit, you can see the brush marks, and it dried too fast. So I've actually got these little ridgy bits as well, and when you rub your finger on it, it comes off chalky. So I'm not massively pleased with that. But I am quite pleased with the reupholstery that I did. So that's all fixed in place. The next one I'm working on is this one, and there's a reason why I've kind of put it down for a bit. It has so many staples when you take that backing cloth off. Like, just look at them, there's like about 100. I also bought a new serger. I've never really used a serger before, so I haven't actually even plugged this guy in yet. I used it on anything, but I do plan to make some knit tops and things, so I will get use out of that. And I bought that on Kijiji for, I think it was 180 bucks, so it was a good price. I've now got this big table in the middle of the room, so I can put my extra machines on there. I can have people come around and sew. It's a little bit untidy at the minute. These are the chairs that I'm working on, so this is going to be one of the designs for the pads. And then it's interfacing back as well, just to kind of protect those seams. So I think that should hold up pretty good, but that's taken over the table right now. And then I also still have the Bear in the Log Cabin quilt to finish quilting. I did quite a bit on it before we left. I've done maybe half of that one now, but it won't be back on the machine for a little bit yet. I want to finish the chairs first. Because I'm in a basement, the lighting hasn't been that great. So I've got these ceiling lights, and we started off with 60 watt equivalent bulbs in there, because we've got these daylight balanced LED bulbs in there, and that wasn't enough. So we went up to 100 watts, and that still wasn't, it was okay, but it wasn't great. So now the second light has two bulbs in it now. I also have this light here, but because we couldn't get daylight balanced bulbs in the right thread, I'm not quite sure how well that really helps. I've got a lot more wall space for quilts now as well, so I've got lots of stuff going on the walls, and I've got space for a bit more alongside the design wall, and then I've got a bigger shelf for my fabric as well. That's an important thing to mention. So that all lives over there too, so that's nice. So class wise, I have got this far on my Quilt As You Go Venti tote bag. This was a class that I ran at the shop, and it has finished now. It was 2 weeks. All that I've got left to do is to put the bottom in, which I have made here already. So that just needs to sew into the bottom, and then I need to hand finish the binding around the handles around the top, and then I need to bind the bottom as well in the same way. So the bunch barrel bag that I'm making in the class this week with my students is going to be the larger size bag. I'm not going to put side pockets on or a shoulder strap on this particular one. These are kind of just wonder taped into place. I need to sew these little bits down and the decorative panel at the front, and that's my homework for these for our next class on Friday. We will be running it again for the winter season. Same with the Venti tote bag and also the English paper piecing class, but I will be introducing a couple of new classes too. So I won't talk about them just yet. I can't remember if I've already talked about them anyway on a previous video, but when we launch them at the open house on October 1st, I'll make sure that I mention it in my vlog as well, just to kind of keep you updated on that. I've got one class left, and that's the Craftex wallet class, which is that kind of papery stuff that C&T Publishing, I don't know whether they make it or they just distribute it, but they have lots of nice patterns and things for that now, and there's some new ones coming out that look quite interesting. But that sort of material, there's a free pattern to make a wallet, but I will kind of walk people through how to use it, and then some tips for finishing it a little bit nicer with binding and stuff too. So that's a 3-hour class. We should finish it within that time, maybe with a little bit of binding left to sew on at home, and that is on this Saturday. And that's the last class that I have until after the open house on October 1st. So it's going to be quite a quiet month for me for teaching, September and October, because I was going to be going away in October and I'm not now. I can use my holiday days for the move instead. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good idea really, because we won't have the money to go anywhere now anyway. There's quite a few improvements around the house to do still. So that's my update really for this week. Hopefully next week I'll have a bit more exciting stuff to show you, maybe some finished projects and maybe some finished chairs. That's my next big finish.